do you want to be when you grow up? Like many children back in the day, I was asked that question, but I didn't have the answer. When I was in the 5th grade, I was told that I needed to get good grades so I can go to college after high school and become what I wanted to be. But when high school ended and I was supposed to enroll in college, I chose not to enroll because I simply did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up. When I was 10 years old, college just seemed something like a lifetime away. Next thing you know, I'm in high school and I don't have any idea what in the world I want to do when I grow up. My attitude pretty much was, why go to college? So I can waste a lot of money, be in a lot of debt, while trying to figure it all out. 11 years would pass, and out of nowhere, I noticed my mom decides to take the initiative upon herself to go back to school and to get a degree in the medical specialties program. You know, she kept inviting me to come to the school almost every day, saying that I need to meet the faculty members. But in particularly, she wanted me to meet the leader of the business program, which is Linda Bursey. She kept bragging about Linda every day. In the summer of 2012, my mother graduated from the medical specialties program. And at the ceremony, I thought to myself, wow, if my mom can do it, well then so can I. I talked myself out of going to college for whatever reason. Had my doubts, had my fears. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. All that negative riffraff that we all have to deal with on a daily basis. I thought about it a little bit more. And of course, more time went by. And I thought to myself, what in the world am I doing? Am I ever going to go to college? Am I ever going to do anything with my life? Well, finally, in December of 2012, I finally decided to take the initiative upon myself and go to college.
You got your bachelor's, right? Did he go for a business?
So here's January. I'm finally enrolled in school. Everything seems like it's going to work out. Sky's the limit, right? After my 3rd week in college and finals coming up, I had to rush my mother to the hospital where she was in agonizing pain for what my father and I thought was a kidney stone based on her symptoms. Although we felt bad for all the pain she was in, we thought for the most part she would be in good care with the hospital staff, since they pretty much thought that she also was suffering from complications of a cyst on her kidney. We would get home, the next day would come, get a call early in the morning from a neurosurgeon from the Good Samaritan Hospital that would inform my father and I that my dad would have to come down to the hospital immediately, if not sooner, because he needed to perform emergency surgery on my mother because she had stage 4 breast cancer that spread into her spine. Can you imagine going from hearing your mother has just got a kidney stone to something that life-threatening? All sorts of things go through your head. One thing went through my head, which was, maybe this whole school thing is not meant to happen. Maybe I should just quit. Give up. But then I thought to myself, through all of what my parents have gone through, what have I gone through, and especially what my mother was currently going through in the hospital, I knew for a fact that she would want me to stay in school. At the hospital, my father and I, of course, did a lot of prayer. And while being in complete shock over my mother's diagnosis, we went and saw my mother, and she was in critical condition and unconscious in the ICU. After visiting with her, she was unconscious. My father and I came back home, and I decided to study for my final exam. Completely stressed out, exhausted, as well as feeling like somebody ripped my heart completely out of me. The next day, my dad and I returned to the hospital, and my mom was still unconscious, in critical condition. My dad and I stayed by her bedside and prayed for her as much as we could. When 5 o'clock that day came around, I informed my dad that I had to go back to school because I had a 6 p.m. final, like so many of us have experienced. After leaving the hospital and driving through mad rush hour traffic, I barely was able to make it to school in time. My instructor, Aaron Yannicki, then handed out the exams, and I took a deep breath and tried to block out what had happened with my mom. After 20 minutes or so, the exam was over, and Mr. Yannicki handed me my grade. I had gotten an A on the final exam and an A in the class. The instructor then excused us for the day, and I returned home. When I returned home, I saw my dad and showed him my grade. He was very happy for me and informed me that my mom would have been proud of me as well. That night, we prayed again, of course, for my mom intensely, and then tried to do our best to come up with some, much needed sleep. The next day, we were informed that my mother was somewhat conscious. So we went down to the hospital to see her, and by the time we got down there, my mother was conscious, and for the most part, in good spirits. She had been in the hospital for 3 days already. I then showed her my grade, and with tears in her eyes, she thanked me for staying in school, for she stated that she knew it would have been the best thing for me to do. Standing here before you all today, I never had any intentions, to be honest, to get straight A's. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go down to class and I'm going to do my best, and whatever happens, happens. But after all that happened with my mom, or I should say, while all that was happening with my mom, I thought, I'm going to try my best to get straight A's. I want to make her proud. She gave me the inspiration to try as hard as I possibly could. As the days passed, my mother would have more surgeries done to her spine. Every day, my father and I would spend much of our mornings and our afternoons at the hospital with her. My mother had a total of 6 operations on her, 5 on her spine and 1 on her lungs to flush out a staph infection. She spent a total of 15 days on life support with a ventilator to keep her alive since she was no longer capable of breathing on her own. She was in the ICU for a total of 2 months. And in the neurotrauma section of the school, not of the school, of the hospital, I wish it was a school, believe me, for 1 month. From there, she was moved to the rehab section of the hospital for 2 months. From January of 14th of 2013 to June 14th, 2013, which was 5 straight months, she was in some kind of hospital care. In January 2013, the radiologist informed my father and I that he felt that my mom had a maximum of 2 years to live if she was lucky, and basically stated it would take a miracle for her to make it that long. In February of 2013, we were informed by the surgeon, of course, who was scraping out her staph infection, that in his humble opinion, my mother would never walk again. Being told this, we decided not to share this information with my mom because she became conscience later after that surgery. And we thought it would just make her feel more down than she really was. A few days later, my mom wanted my father and I to massage her feet and legs for her while we were visiting. While at first it didn't seem to make much sense, we went ahead and did it anyhow. Anything to make her feel better and lift up her spirit. In March of 2014, when my mother was moved to another building for rehab and acute care, she was able to move her feet, and when she was never able to do so before. When we were informed that she could move her feet, we informed her and gave her a lot of encouragement. And from there on out, she made up her mind that no matter what the doctors said, that one day she would walk again. So from here, she insisted that my dad and I massage her feet and legs every day, before and sometimes after her rehab sessions. While my dad and I at times got pretty tired of massaging my mom's feet, we went ahead and did it anyhow. After all, you only get one mom, you love her, and she was too great to turn down. A few weeks later, my mom became determined to walk again and try to get up out of bed on her own when there was no visitors. She made it about halfway, and she slipped and fell and ended up hitting the bottom of her chin very hard against the floor, as well as injuring her left heel. Once again, my father and I got a phone call from the main hospital informing us that my mom was right back there in the ER for some kind of treatment. We thought, oh boy, here we go again. And she was being treated because they thought she had a concussion. After getting the results, the doctors had confirmed she didn't have a concussion, thank God. But she bumped her head very badly, leaving a nasty bump on the back of her head, a swollen black and blue chin, and a swollen black and blue left heel. While my mother returned to the rehab center, the nurses were glad that she was okay, but were very upset, of course, because she shouldn't be doing that. In mid-June 2013, while approaching the time of my mother's release, the physical therapist had my dad and I come down to watch my mom during physical therapy. For the first time since we last saw her home in January of that year, we saw her get up on a platform walker and walk. It was a very emotional time, as you could possibly imagine. But we knew with hard work that my mother would be able to one day walk normal again. 1 month later, she ditched the platform walker and wheelchair and upgraded to a standard walker. 1 month after that, in August of 2013, my dad and I witnessed her walking on her own without the use of a standard walker. Till this day, my mom can walk without the use of a walker around the house, and just like everyone else, she loves that she is able to have her physical freedom back. The only time she uses a walker is when she's going somewhere for long durations, just for like support if she gets tired or something. In regards to my mom's cancer, we received some wonderful news that gave hope and encouragement to my father, myself, but especially my mom. In late August of 2013, my mother's oncologist informed us that even though my mother had stage 4 breast cancer that spread into her spine, that she could live, not just for a couple years like that radiologist once said, but for many years. stated, what most people do not understand or know or are aware of is that you can actually live with cancer as long as it doesn't spread to any vital organs that will, of course, destroy your body. And he said as long as we all keep a good eye on her cancer and continue with the chemo treatments, that she could be around for many more years to come. I realize that Mother's Day is on Sunday. But Mom, I just wanted to say that I love you and I am proud that you are here with us today. Well, I realized that story was quite a long one. I just wanted you all here tonight to have an idea where I was coming from. I could have had the attitude to just drop out of school and quit. But through everything my mom was going through, I wanted to make her proud of her son in a way in which she could give, or have, I should say, something to live for, which was her family. I wanted her to know that during the time of when she was going through all the surgeries and struggles to make it day in and day out, that even though some of the doctors had quit on her, that we as a family did not quit on her. That is the main reason why I stayed in school and why I continue to strive so hard to this day. You know, I've been at college for a little over 2.5 years, and I can honestly say, I feel as though it's the best decision I have ever made so far in my life. You know, instead of waiting after I graduate to make an impact on my community, I have already taken the initiative to inform my friends, my family, and those in my community, such as my neighbors and members of my church, of how college could be something they can do and make time for, no matter how young or how old they may be, while sharing my mother's story of hope, determination, to inspire people around me, no matter what situation they may be in. You know, for many, college is something that people fear for many reasons. Some feel as though it's too hard, or they can't fit in, like I mentioned before. College helped me realize that anyone can make time to go to college and enhance their education to get a decent paying job in the workforce. College has helped me get over the fears I once had by doing my best to give me hope, inspiration, and encouragement. Especially to those in my community who have fears and worries about college, by taking the time to explain to them that college is always within their grasp. They just need to take the next step to make it happen. The author H. Jackson Brown Jr. once said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you did not do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the battle lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sail, explore, dream, discover. So for the class of 2015, and all of you gathered here tonight, I will leave you with this final thought. Will you tear somebody down? Or will you give? Or will you lift somebody up? Will you provide hope for the hopeless? You know, it doesn't take tens or hundreds or even thousands of people to give the hope, inspiration, and encouragement that is needed for the person who is desperately needing it. It just takes one. Let's all be that one for that somebody who needs us. Thank you, and God bless you.
This is great. I'm going to give you 2015 Class Valedictorian Medal. It is earned. It is so appreciated. Everything that you've done, everything your family has done.
I'm still composing myself after that speech.